Hey guys, okay, take 16. I don't know if anyone's left in the chat. We'll see how we go. But if anyone can hear me all right, see if it's okay. Cool, we're working. Good. All right. So yeah, welcome back to the all right, all good. Welcome back to the Twitch stream. Sorry about that. A few technical problems. Just had to update OBS and whatnot. Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, we've got a few exciting things that we're going to try and do with the Twitch stream. So obviously, with this one today, just going to keep going through this project and show you some cool tips and techniques for continuing this on and getting it working better and better. Tomorrow at the same time, same place, we're going to have Tim McBurney and do a Twitch stream about kind of a pretty topical topic at the moment of working from home and staying motivated and like being productive and all those sorts of things. So yeah, just going to have a bit of a chat with him, and he obviously works from home a lot. I'm always working in the studio. He works from home, so yeah, really trying to really going to try and talk about some stuff with Tim and get that all kind of happening, which should be pretty fun. So let's kind of move back into what we're doing here. So if we just swap over into Photoshop, basically last week I haven't touched this or anything since last week. So kind of last week did some designs. Kind of started with like a bit of a story idea, a bit of a brief. All right. And once again, you can watch this back online. We've got this up on YouTube or in Twitch. So yeah, you can really kind of check this out. And then did some what a good name. Are you guys still picking up the stream okay? Okay, we're all good. We're good. Okay, so yeah, cool. Okay. So getting into kind of like doing some thumbnails and then starting to work on some really simple line work designs and getting that kind of working. So now, before I go too much further, I'm going to turn off all this stuff in my every now and then when I plug my tablet back in, get all this stuff. I just hate all these. I'm so old. I can't use these tools. So I just turn it all off. Yeah. Just disable. Everything's going smooth today, guys, hey? Right, we'll get there. How we go, okay. Yeah. See how we go. Alright. So yeah, working on these designs. So what I've kind of done is the only thing that I've done extra outside of the streaming time is I just got some more references, right? And I'll bring that up just in kind of Finder. And yeah, basically what I wanted to do was just get some more references for some of this like kind of detailing, some of the filigree, some of the patterns, all of that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to do a mix of like, Egyptian versus medieval. With a lot of this stuff at the moment, I'm just getting like medieval kind of stuff because I think what we'll do today is just work on some of that. And then, yeah, kind of moving into some more Egyptian stuff as, as this kind of, yeah, goes on further, right? So one thing that was interesting as I was kind of on Pinterest and looking for ideas was I was starting to get like some Moroccan elements sort of popping up. And I think that's kind of like almost does have this mix of medieval versus like Egyptian. Some of that kind of like shape language and patterns and colors and things like that. So yeah, I was really looking at, some of these things, right? Like some of this kind of like blue patterning, some of these kind of like mosques, that kind of idea, which which I think was really cool. So that's something that I think we can sort of run with and bring, you know, into this design. So what I've done is I got a few things and I've just kind of organized them on a separate layer. Gets, you know, getting a little bit messy here in our Photoshop document. I probably wouldn't normally do this, but because like we're on a stream, I just want to have it in one window. It's a bit hard to be swapping windows back and forth and showing you guys what's going on. So I'm just trying to put it in like, you know, this basic version of just all together in Photoshop. So, and you can see here, what I'm thinking is we've got kind of our design, which I think is heading in like a decent direction, right? And I'm kind of thinking about some of these, you know, circular architectural elements, you know, mixed with the columns, mixed with the roofing, mixed with, you know, these kind of like big Egyptian, you know, pyramid style shapes. So, yeah, just basically it's like getting some reference for those things and kind of like exactly how they're going to go. So, what I want to do from here is, it's at this point where I've got kind of a design half happening, kind of heading in the right direction, that I now want to take this into 3D Code. So I'm going to take this into 3D Code. I'm going to start doing a bit of sculpting. I'm going to show you some cool stuff in there, and then from there we're going to kind of probably bring it back into Photoshop and even design more on top of that, or even just do it in 3D. We're going to see how that goes. Sometimes I'll do a bit of a mix of both. I'll do some stuff in 2D, some stuff in 3D, just kind of doing that. But without further ado, let's just open up 3D Code and kind of go from there. Now, like I said last week, like we're going to do an image that's pretty complex, right? I'm going to try and do something that's pretty full on, and we're going to build it all out in 3D and make it a pretty high level sort of like production image, right? So it's going to be a long winding process, and that's why I thought, just with the Twitch stream, if I can do sort of a couple of hours each week on kind of like a slightly different, you know, process or topic each week, then you guys can kind of follow along and stuff, and yeah, build up your own kind of project in the meantime. So let's just get into 3D Code. So basically I'm just going to do like a really basic tutorial and go through the things that you kind of need to do in 3D Code. All right. Now I'm kind of at all the programs I'm going to use, aside from Photoshop. I'm not a master of these programs like at all. I just use them for the bit that I kind of want to use them for, and I sort of take that through all the way through to Blender. Even with Blender, I really don't really know what I'm doing, but I just know enough to get the things out of it that I kind of need to get for what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Probably the amount I know of Blender is like 0.5% of Blender, right? Like it's a teeny tiny amount, but that's all you need. And I think that's a real big thing for like not getting anxious about using new software and things. Just like keep it simple, do tutorials, slow it down, take some notes, just, you know, keep repeating it until it becomes simpler for you. And I find like with the 3D software, the more things I do, the more they kind of build up on themselves, and the more I kind of go like, oh yeah, this one's like that one, that one's like this one, I can do this and import that into this, and that would do this bit and that would do that bit, and I don't even really have to know exactly what I'm doing, but as long as I know the process I want to do, then I feel that it helps with like not feeling anxious about learning a new thing, or using a different program, or, you know, we all have that feeling of like, oh god, I don't know how to do this. So without further ado, let's get 3D Code go. All right. So okay, first thing to do for 3D Code is to basically, aside from opening it up, is click on this little button here, and that's like this perspective toggle on and off. If you sculpt in like the perspective mode, it's kind of weird because you can't you'll see. All right, next thing is you hit spacebar, and that basically brings up all of these tools that you have in Sculpt mode. So I'm just in Sculpt mode here, right? So make sure in Sculpt. Actually, let's just start again. I didn't even explain that. So when you open up 3D Code, this dialog will pop up. Voxel sculpting, just click on the grid. That's all you got to do. Now we're in a new one, and it will come in like that. You just turn perspective off, right? Hit spacebar. That'll bring up all the tools here that you kind of have access to. Up the top here, there's a quick access bar. If you haven't used 3D Coat before, or like, obviously I'm not expecting you guys to have it installed right now, so you know, when you go away in your own time and install it and maybe watch back this stream later, is that it has like a quick access bar up here, and what you can do is drag the tools from down here like up to there. Does that make sense? And then they'll stay down there and in your quick access bar. I was just literally just talking to Nathan before about sometimes they just disappear from up here and down here. 3D Coat's a little bit buggy sometimes, like with stuff, so you just got to kind of give it a restart. Essentially what I want to do is the first one, I just want to make a primitive. So I just click on primitive. All right, so I just hit spacebar, click on primitive, and then you've got your primitives up here. So you can do, you know, cube and oblong shapes and cylinders, cones, and pretty much everything you need to kind of work on. Now, 99 times out of 100 in 3D Coat, I just make a cube and I'm building everything from the cube, right? Even kind of like circular things. We'll get into this. I'll show you. So when you do this, right, I want to make this initial cube a little bit bigger, okay? One thing that's kind of weird about 3D Coat that you have to get your head around really quickly is that this, like making this cube, this is not, I can't transform it now. Well, I can, but it's kind of not doing it properly, all right? So what I need to do is I need to hit spacebar, right? Once I've got my cube kind of the size I want it to be, and then I go up to transform. All right, and I don't know what just happened. Let's go. Hang on, what just happened then? Primitive. Oh, that's why. So that's a good thing to know. So the reason why that did that is because you always have to click apply. So that was the step I was going to say before, but I forgot because I was talking about other stuff. So you just need to click apply, right? So you click apply, and then you'll see how this cube actually kind of changed color. Now, what happens a lot of time is like people will be like, oh, I want to like transform my cube. I'm going to make it bigger, and you'll just be like, okay, let's like transform and stuff. Can you guys see that? Like, what's happening is it's not transforming the cube behind it. It's just transforming the primitive that I'm laying out to use. So what I do is, so remember you hit apply, right? So I've already done that. And then when I go up to transform, now this will just transform the geo that I have, all right? So this will now like kind of, you know, I can do this kind of stuff and whatnot, right? Okay. So that's basically how you get a primitive in there. Let's just go through that process again. Going to make a new layer. Don't worry about that bit at the moment. Let's go primitive. So we're just going to make a cube, right? A box. We just hit apply. Then it will kind of change color. Then spacebar, transform, and then you can kind of move it around and stuff. All right. So next up, hey everyone, coming in the chat, following, awesome, great, good to have you in here. So next up from there is now I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh yes. So if I hold down Alt and I use my, you know what, like in Blender, I find that I really only use the mouse, and like in Maya and stuff, I only use the mouse. In 3D Coat, I really do use the tablet. I've found it's the closest program to like drawing stuff that I've kind of found. So I use the tablet. I don't use the mouse because I'm doing a lot of like kind of sculpting and drawing and stuff, right? It's kind of similar to ZBrush. So if I hold down Alt, right, and left click or stylus on the tablet, that will just rotate, you know, this object around, right? So that's holding Alt. Then a really cool thing in 3D Coat is if you hold Alt and then Shift, it'll just snap. So it'll snap to the top, you know, the side, right, the bottom, whatever the case may be, right? So, and after a while, I'm not going to know which way is which. So, yeah, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, there are kind of ways to show like the top and side and all that kind of stuff, but it's actually just really cool to just, it's kind of like ZBrush where you just like in a space, and until you start sculpting, that's the front, well, that's the top and the side, if that makes sense. I see Cassie's asking a question like, what do you think is better? I don't think it's anything to do with being better. I think at the moment Blender is like way more like user friendly, which is kind of a just ridiculous thing to say about Blender, because for years and years it was the most unuser friendly program ever. But they've just really recently changed that a lot, and it's becoming really awesome to use. We're going to get into, yeah, throughout the weeks I'll go over heaps and heaps of Blender stuff, so we'll get to all that. But right now, you know, we're just kind of mucking around in 3D Code. So yeah, and then basically like I can transform this. Yeah, I can make it bigger, smaller, you know, wider, whatever, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so that's pretty cool. Next up, the next really important concept to get in 3D Code is that it's kind of like size dependent. So the size that I made that cube at the start is actually kind of like how many polys it is. Don't know if that doesn't make any sense. Whatever, I'll just show you guys. So essentially, if you go into here, right, you've got this Res Plus and Resample. If you're on a laptop, be really careful with Res Plus, right? It's great because it just adds more res to your sculpts, but if you're on a laptop, it will make them explode. My laptop has exploded. I know this from personal experience. If I click on Resample, this is kind of telling me all the things I need to know. So at the moment, we've got kind of it's 822,000 polys, right? So it's pretty heavy on the polys, right? So what I'm going to do is like we can just make that say like 97,000, right? And that's just made it pretty kind of low poly, but you'll see that the edges kind of get rounded. So what you'll find is that the more that you start cutting things out and stuff, the more res you'll kind of like want to get in there. But it's definitely like a really important concept to understand. So like, for example, you don't want to just drag out a really huge cube and it's like 2 million polys from the start, and you start making all your changes and then it's really heavy on your laptop or your computer and you're like, what? I don't know why it's doing this. Just a cube. Because yeah, in 3D Code, it's kind of like size dependent. So you've got to be really aware of that. And once you are, it makes it so much easier to use, right? So yeah, okay. So the next one, let's go through the next tool that's really cool. So I'm going to come up here, and in this little bit here, just there's one called Cutoff. So I've got that here. Now, Cutoff's awesome because basically like we can just cut out of objects in 3D Code, and this is like super duper cool. So I'll just show you what it kind of does, and then we can just I'll tell you what it's kind of doing. So pretty much like I can make any shape that I want, and it's just like Photoshop with the lasso tool. So how cool is that? Like really cool. So you can just go crazy, right? And you'll see here like I'm kind of getting some slightly soft edges. That's because the res of the the amount of polys, right? The sort of resolution of the cube here. So that's really cool, right? You can just kind of go nuts with this. All right. So how did I kind of do that? Well, hit spacebar, go to cutoff. All right. Then the next option, that's the kind of, there's two big things in 3D Code. Spacebar brings up the tools, and E kind of brings up the tool palette kind of thing. Now, let me just show you something really quick if we go like build, and I just go E and choose one of these brushes, I can paint on here. So yay, awesome, right? You just paint on here, okay? I'll explain more and more of this as we go along, okay? But if I go back to, and sometimes 3D Code gets a bit funky, so I just always like to save this kind of stuff really early on. So let's go screen, one, sorry guys, new folder, coat. All right, so so if we want to use this cutout tool, right? So I just hit spacebar, go to cutoff, and then hit E. So the next big tool palette kind of thing in 3D Code is you hit E, right? And basically, with the cutoff tool, it won't let me have these brush options available, but like they're just for different tools. So we've kind of, it's a bit more rigid with how you kind of do it, right? So I always, for making kind of funky shapes, you choose this one here, like the lasso tool, right? So you can choose that. And then with the lasso tool, that's where I can just cut stuff off. That's really cool, right? Then we can also set this like depth limit. And what that would do is like, it'll only cut stuff off up to a certain depth. oh, like that, right? So it's pretty cool. So you can actually do like kind of insets and sci-fi, you know, kind of like little cut line details and like, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Really kind of like super easily. Pretty cool. And 3D Coat's a little bit like Photoshop, where there's kind of like quite a number of ways that you can kind of do the same thing. So yeah, it's super good. And later on, I'm going to show you like some stencil stuff, which is just like nuts. It's super good. I think it's like, yeah, ZBrush kind of has it with alphas, but in 3D Coat, they kind of take it to the next level. And you can actually draw a lot of stuff in Photoshop and turn it into 3D geometry, which is like pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. All right, so we've got build as well. So I just showed that before, and basically like, yeah, that's where you can like sculpt on here. So if you hit E, you just want to have you know, one of these ones selected. You can do like a point to point kind of thing as well, right? It does this. And then what we've got is the bracket keys, just like in Photoshop, the square bracket keys up and down, they make the brush size smaller, right? So that's pretty cool. You can also, if we go back to here, I use this one all the time, right? And you can do like texture and stuff, just straight onto the model. It's like super cool, right? I'll show you guys crazy stuff. I make like ground planes with really detailed rocks and all this kind of stuff, really super fast, right? Very cool. So yeah, so let's just go back to, you know what, let's do a new layer. Just start this again from scratch. Just go through it again, just so in case you're not sure. Spacebar, primitive, right? Just we just resize this right to what we kind of want. Just hit apply. It's going to change color slightly, but if I move this around now, it's just like adding a new primitive. And if you do it on here, it's just adding it onto the same layer, so it can get really confusing, right? But then what you do is spacebar, transform. So I just kind of like, my process is always just like spacebar, transform, and then I can, you know, kind of muck around with it, right? So without further ado, let's actually start designing some of this stuff up, all right? So let's go back to Photoshop, and I want to start working on some of this. So I'm not really sure like how I'm going to go about doing this yet, but let's just get started, eh? And just and try. So so what I'm going to do here is just put this in my other screen so I can see a little bit. So I can see what's going on, and then let's go back into 3D Coat. All right, and yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. All right, so pretty much at the moment, just gonna like transform things. So yeah, this is all like pretty simple stuff. We're quickly going to get into some other tools that are really good to use, right? So I'm basically just working on this like top section, all right, of my kind of design. All right, so another tool, spacebar. Let's do pose, right? Pose is really cool. So what I want to do with pose is I might just show you kind of separately first. Is if I hit E, right, with pose, choose like the rectangle tool, and just drag around this, right? Basically just going to make a selection of all that stuff, okay? Then what I do is like, you just hit reset axis. You always have to hit that. Don't ask me why, just do. Don't ask questions, just do it. All right? And then I can actually just drag stuff up. And the pose tool is really cool because you can literally just be like, whoop, and then like, whoop, rotate, and like you can do kind of all sorts of crazy stuff. You just go like clear selection, just grab it again, reset axis. Well, let's like rotate that. So you just grab that yellow line, you can rotate it, and then grab this middle one. I'll let you sort of drag it wherever you want. So yeah, it's really cool. You can kind of it's super easy to make sort of any shape that you can ever hope, right? So I'm going to go into this with a bit more kind of thought and planning. Probably not that much planning, just just thought about what I want to design. So if this is my top, right? Now what I'm going to do is another tool. Let's just keep going through tools. Is S, right? S will bring up symmetry, and basically you have you can enable symmetry and you can show the symmetry plane, right? A couple of different options here. So I can kind of have my symmetry working like this, and it will show you kind of like how it's sitting on the object, right? Which is really cool. So if I'm doing something where it's like very architectural, you know, I want everything to be symmetrical and things. So yeah, that's just really good to have kind of have happening. So let's just go back into pose and just select my rectangle tool. And the reason why I'm doing the symmetry is just so like it's all the same on all sides. So what's cool is like when we're dragging out a selection, it'll make that like symmetrical as well. So it's pretty cool. So just reset axis, and I just want to like drag this up, touch, and I want to just just kind of like shrink it in, right, and just transform it. So yeah, it's really fast and powerful, like kind of some of the shapes and things that you can kind of create, which is obviously like really cool. So let's go clear selection. I just want to select in here, right? So I'm just kind of looking at my design. Obviously you guys can't see that, but yeah, what I want to do here is let's undo that. I want to shrink that in like that. There we go. What's cool is like it'll do it on both sides. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So we're getting like some of these kind of like shapes happening here. Whoa, yeah, I can see what I did here, right? Where I kind of didn't just like kind of mess this up. 3D Code's awesome because you can just like, I'll show you how to fix stuff like this, right? So you literally just go like this. So I can see that it's just kind of yanked it up a little bit, right? So let's go, hang on, flip around the right way so it's not confusing. Let's just go spacebar, cut off, and go E, rectangle tool, and just like cut that bit off. Now, see what it did? It just like cut in a shape there, which is not kind of exactly what I wanted. Kind of cool though. So, kind of cool. Maybe we could do some of that like just here as well. Oh, always good. Happy accidents. Alright, it's kind of cool. Go back to E, right? And I want to turn off that depth limit. So I'm just going to cut that off. And I just cut it off until it's flat again, right? And then what I can do is I just hit spacebar, go back to pose, and just grab this, right? Reset, and just move it down, right? And I've basically got that kind of block back again without it being cut off at the bottom. So there, you can't make mistakes in 3D Code. Like, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Bradley, we're gonna probably model like all of it. Yeah, all of it. I've been doing some tests with like I've even been doing some tests with foliage and Blender and all sorts. So yeah, we could probably even animate the whole thing in 3D by the time I'm done with it. But yeah, we'll see how we go. See how far that want to take it. So let's just go back to cutoff, which spacebar, cutoff, E, lasso tool, right? And I just want to like add a bit of angle here. Now this is great because that symmetry's turned on, so we're kind of getting some of those like nice little angles happening. Which is kind of nice, right? And we can really quickly just kind of work on this shape, which is pretty cool. So this is already heading in like in a pretty good direction. I'm just going to really quickly have a look at. I've got a roof shape. Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I've got to design this bit, right? This is going to take a bit of time. But I'll show you how we're going to do that in Photoshop. Alright, well I'm really hoping we can get to that doorway or the window today and get that kind of done because it's pretty cool. Alright, so just up here, let's do let's see like how kind of janky we can get with this, right? I'm just gonna go do that. pose, we go depth limit. I think this, let's make this like 30. Now what I want to do is I want to not have this symmetrical, right? So I'm just going to go clear selection, clear select, S, and I want to turn off that one. All right, I still want to have it on the other one, so it's the same either side, just not kind of like front to back. Yeah, so reset axis and cool. Yeah, so I just want to like drag this up to the top. There, and it's kind of how kind of like messy you can be in 3D code, which like yeah, is just really cool. Clear selection because I just wasn't like straight on, so I make sure I hold shift when I'm rotating around. All right, whoop, whoop, whoop. Just like drag this up because like I just need kind of like geo up here. Now what I'm going to do is, yeah, before I get too lost in this, let's taper this in because this is going to be like my kind of roof. I'm just looking at my reference here, just trying to get that shape. Go clear selection, right, and then let's just go pose and E and just turn that depth limit off and just kind of like grab that, reset, just move this through, and like it doesn't matter, it'll just like create geometry in there. Like it's pretty cool how it works, right? So then I want to kind of start just thinking about some of this stuff. Let's go cutoff. Oops, spacebar. Cutoff. E. Make sure we're on the right one here. Yeah, it's going to take ages, Bradley. It's okay, but with like these sort of images, like that's alright. So like, you know, if I was doing them in a work environment, you know, I'd have normally the, you know, my boss or my client, or whatever the case may be, would have a bit of time. Would have like a week or so to get an image like this done, right? A big production image that we can use to, you know, really like blue sky a kind of, you know, IP, right? So okay, cool. This is starting to head in a good direction here. Let's go E. Oh, no, sorry. Spacebar. Cut off. E. Depth limit. Oops. And escape. E. The rectangle tool. Now, what I want to do here is let's do that. Symmetry. Turn that back on. And just make a few kind of cuts in here. All right. So, yep, that's cool. We're starting to work here. I think that's okay for now. All right. So yeah, I'm just looking at my reference here. What I'm going to do. So, okay. So I'm going to leave this like this for a second. I'll just show you one thing really quick. So if I just turn symmetry off, right, turn that off, and if I go back into perspective mode, right, so it's good for viewing stuff, right, so that you can kind of see. So I'm like, I did Alt and right click to zoom in and out, right, pan, can't remember what that is. I just always use this. One thing with 3D code, is don't go outside of this white border here. So that little white border, kind of easy to see here. Don't go outside there. When you're clicking out here and stuff, it just breaks 3D coats. Like inside here is the safe zone. So you just do stuff with inside there. So I'm always kind of using this like little move tool just to bring things back in. You can use this like all pan and all this kind of stuff, right, to kind of zoom in and out if you need to, right? And you can just zoom in and out using that as well, right? But if I bring back perspective here, what's really cool is like we can be like, oh, this is our archway thing. Oops, our point. This is our archway thing that's up the top here. Right, so we get it in perspective, and then you can just hit like render as well, and it will just like do a really quick render of this, of your kind of your sculpt that you got going on. You've got over here, you've got like shaders, so you can make it like gold, and then you can do like a render. Ooh, sexy. Right, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. You can do stuff. All right, so yeah, if you go on sculpt, you can change all these shaders and stuff, make it metallic and things. Pretty cool. Like, it looks pretty cool. It's just a quick little, I think it's like a marmoset render. Yeah, but it's really useful to kind of visualize how this stuff's all kind of coming along. All right, so let's stop rambling on. All right, and let's get into kind of like, yeah, the next phase of this. So what I want to do is let's just save this. And I don't know if to save. All right, save this. Now I want to do some patterning in Photoshop, right? Then we're going to use like a really cool technique in 3D Coat called stenciling. And this is super awesome. This is where you kind of like, 3D Coat, yeah, I could just do all this stuff in Blender, but when you see this, you're like, oh, okay, you win. I don't know, maybe there's a way to do it in Blender or something. Probably is, I don't know, but I'll just do it in 3D Coat. So what I want to do is kind of like work on this kind of pattern stuff here, right? So once again, this is going to take like a little bit of doing, right? This will take a little bit of doing, but it's really worthwhile. Now, the one thing I didn't have was like some Egyptian patterns and things. Sorry, guys. Let's see if I can quickly. I just want to look really quick at just some references for some stuff. On the fly. This will do. I'm just looking at like a little bit of reference on the other screen. So basically what I want to do here is just on a new layer, I'm just gonna CUDA games, you kind of can use like displacement maps, but that's I use a lot of them, but just wait. Just wait and see. All right, so I just want to bring up window brush settings and all this stuff off for a second. All right, so I just want like a hard brush and just going to start kind of doing these, working out these patterns and designs and making them all a little bit more resolved. And like I said, this stuff will take a bit of time, but once we get it working, you'll see how like fast this can kind of make designing up these things in 3D Coat and then Blender, and yeah, Substance Painter, yeah, awesome, very cool. It's used in the industry a lot. Let's do might need to be a little bit more exact with some of this stuff. I'm just going to do a new layer and use the Elliptical Marquee tool. Alright, and then I just want to duplicate that and transform it. And I use the numbers here because I want it to like transform down evenly on kind of both sides. So let's make 5, like duplicate again and again. No. I'm gonna make this. Alright, I'm just trying to get it like a little bit thicker on the inside. Tiny. Cool. And then I want to just use the line tool. Right, so if I hit U on my keyboard, basically that'll bring up the rectangle tool. I think I showed you guys this last week as well. So I just want to have it set to line tool pixels. All right. Right. Working. So just trying to get some, you know, Egyptian style kind of like designs happening. So we might need to hide this stuff for a sec. Merge that down one more time. I'm just going to hide that and then grab both of these layers and just make this a little bit bigger because I can. Oh, hang on. Wrong layer. Yeah, oh no, good. What's going on? Oh, grab that layer. Transform. Why is it transforming out there? What have I done? What's it getting on that layer up there? Oh, I had symmetry turned on. Oops. Oops. Let's turn symmetry off. Oh. First, that. Okay, just select these. Wow, this is taking a long time. Just make something a little bit bigger. Oops. Okay. Go. Get flat. Yep. Go. Put this one in here. Oh, how am I going? Right. Shrink this down a bit. See how we go now. Right, now what I might do here as well is like just grab this one. I just want a bit of room to just put this like kind of design in. I'm just going to change the width to like 115. Yeah, 120. Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to go back to this little bit of design here, and I'm just going to I am going to duplicate it. Actually, let's not do that. I'm going to just grab kind of half of it. I'm going to inverse that selection. Control Shift I. Delete one layer and delete that other half. Right. Then I'm going to duplicate that layer, transform, right click, flip horizontal. Right. So it's just making a mirror of itself. All right. And then merge that down. right, and move this kind of in, just get this working. All right, so I want to give myself a bit more kind of room here. But yeah, this looks good. Oops. So this is going to be like kind of a repeatable texture that I can use. So I'm not too fussed that this is going to like this is going to take too long, right? Because we're going to be able to, once we start repeating this around, it's going to be really cool. Have a look. Keep going here. All right, now what I might do, so I can see that this one now is kind of like moved a bit, sort of like not really central anymore. So just going to show you ways that you can get all this so it's all symmetrical. Right, and this is just sort of like just my base here. So I'm just going to grab this one, half of it. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Just Control J, that'll duplicate that layer. Transform, flip horizontal. Just flip this around, just line it up. So it's like in the middle, and then this is kind of that's symmetrical, right? So that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to do here is hide that second. I'm just going to grab this. All right, I'm going to go Control Shift C, Control V, and that's going to paste everything onto a new layer. I'm going to flip it horizontal. It just needs to go above that layer there. And then because there was some sort of little bits on the other side that kind of weren't working so well, you can see there. So I'm just going to make sure that it's sort of working. So that's cool. And then I just want to grab these little guys in here. Just flip them vertical and zoop, zoop, zoop. Put them up there. There we go. Just sort of got this, kind of sort of like Egyptian style pattern going on there, which is pretty cool. So next up, what I want to do is going to do a new layer. Oops. New layer. Right. I mean, I can even be more precise with this, where it is. Just even thinking about how we can really get these to like line up in the middle as well. Rather than me kind of like making stuff up. Just paint it out. Select that middle. Transform it. Flip horizontal. That is a big eraser. Alright, erase that. Pretty good. Think about some other kind of patterns, and then let's just remove this one. Oh, whatever layer that is on. If I hit V for move tool, just Alt right click, that'll select whatever layer that is. It's an awesome way of like selecting things quickly. And then what I can do here is just grab this whole part of the design, Control Shift C, Control V, right, and just paste. Do this on layer up here. So it's a bit too many layers here, aren't I? But good. Take out all that garbage there. Then just line that up. So we got, you know, the right amount on either side. And I can just, once again, grab this here. This stuff. Line up, and you can see obviously once I kind of start getting this together, it comes together very quickly, right? Which is really cool. So just laying out those little white bits, just making sure it's all kind of like even. Get the polygonal lasso tool here. Just going to kind of get one at the end. Alright, now I'm starting to get like some of this design really happening here. Just going to merge some of these layers together. So I'm pretty sure like that's all on the same layer. We've got, just check out the design underneath. Cool, yep, that's exactly kind of what I needed. This just comes out here. Let's get rid of that little guy. So yep, I'm just gonna save this. Right. So yeah, this is starting to like head along in a good direction, right? What I might do here is just put a kind of pop to this. Now I can be a bit sort of rough with some of this stuff. Whoops. Uh-oh. No. Sticky keys. Stupid sticky keys. Alright. I'm being way too pedantic with some of this stuff, I think. Now, actually we'll do this in a second, but what I want to do here is I'm going to make a pattern of this so it's going to work in 3D code. So Control Shift C, Control N for new, clipboard, paste. All right. Now there's a couple of things that I need to do here. First of all, I'm going to merge this down. Then I need to inverse this whole thing because the way that 3D code works is going to stencil it out kind of in reverse. So anyway, just bear with me. I need to invert it. So all the stuff that's going to kind of mask and like pop out in 3D space is going to be white. However, what's really cool about 3D code is you can play around with the depth. So I can actually make bits pop out further than other bits, if that makes any sense. So for example, let's go in here and let's select these pieces. And sorry, boring selections, need to elevate music. It's always like in class, like, oh my god, selections are so boring. Just all talk amongst yourselves while I select all of these things. Does anyone have any questions? Please, yeah, if you have questions or anything, just let me know. Yell out. I'm more than happy to get sidetracked. I'm trying not to get sidetracked, but it is easy. All right. Okay, made selection. Okay, can shut up now. All right, now I'm going to go Control U. That'll bring up hue saturation. What's really cool is I just got this lightness slider here, and basically I can just slide this down all the way to black, right? So you go all the way up and back, right? So what I want to do is just make this one like a little bit in the gray kind of range. And what that will mean is like it just won't quite pop this out like as far as the rest of the stuff. And I could go in and do more stuff, all right, but I'm not going to, all right, just because yeah, we'll be here for ages. But I might just make a few little bits, so these will just pop out slightly further. So it's just some nice little design touches. I think that the design is probably the hardest thing to teach students, right? Or oops, hang on, what do I do? No, copy, paste, right? Yeah, design is one of those really tricky things for people to understand. Mostly, I'm learning as to why it's hard. It's hard because it's teaching someone taste, right? So your design sensibilities are kind of like the taste of stuff that you're into, and some students just have bad taste. But I think as well, it's kind of like a learned thing over time. A lot of times when you don't have the greatest like design language and visual library, it's exactly that. It's just a lack of visual library, a lack of looking at, you know, really cool things that are going to train you to really become a good designer, right? So just really get on ArtStation, you know, checking out all the CDW, you know, instructors' work, all of that kind of stuff, right? Will help your kind of like sensibilities to what good design is. The more you sort of like look at good design, the more that it'll flow into your own kind of workflow. So that's why it's hard, because everyone's sort of at a different level with their taste sensibilities, and then everyone else has like a different different taste as well, right? So yeah, you don't want everyone to have all the same taste, otherwise everything would be kind of boring. But you don't want people sort of like shape language to be so rudimentary that it's not interesting either. All right. So now I'm just copying this down. Okay. Sneaky little trick is that if I use this stencil as is in 3D Coat, it'll be skewed. So sneaky trick is hold down crop, and I need to make this square. So I just make the square, and what's cool is like I can do any design. I can have stuff rectangular, triangular, whatever, and it won't kind of skew too much as long as it's kind of square. Now I could make a new canvas, blah blah, whatever. It's just as long as it's close, it's going to be fine. All right. So next thing is I'm just gonna. I didn't really have to measure all that down. Let's just save this as a JPEG. So go here, Twitch stream, demo 1. It's going to go 3D Coat, make a new folder. Call this Stencils. Let's go, yep. All right, and Stencil 1. Change this to JPEG. Very complicated. It's making a JPEG. All right, you can see it's nice and small. That's all good. That's what we want. So, all right, now let's go into 3D Coat and let's start making some of this magic happen. All right, now this I think is like the sort of, it's one of the really big reasons why you're just like, yeah, I should do some stuff in 3D Coat, right? So what I'm going to do here is, it's kind of a bit of a convoluted process. Just no, it's fairly simple. It's just some of the stuff. Okay, new. Let's go to the Twitch stream, demo 1, 3D Coat, Stencils. Where we go, there it is. Stencil. Open that, load it up. Boom, there we go. We've got it. All right. So let's click on this. And basically what happens, you can see, is it kind of like adds in this like stencil sheet to 3D Coat. Now what I want to do is a couple of things. Need to bring up my reference again so that I can just, or my not reference to my design, so I know where on earth I'm putting this, where I'm stenciling things. All right, let's go back to 3D Coat. Okay, and okay, so now this is like, you're like, oh god, there's this thing come up and there's all this, I don't know what I'm doing. So what you do is like sometimes I actually use the mouse for this and work a little bit better. On that green little dot there, right? Just right click. Don't ask me why it's like this. It is. You just right click on it, and then all these other options come up, and the options look really daunting. Okay, main one is this triangle one. That'll just kind of like rescale things. This one here will not do that. This one in the middle, right, will move the stencil around. So basically, like, I can kind of line up this stencil to where I kind of wanted this to be in my Photoshop document, right? So that's really cool. So basically, like, I just line it up, and you can do this with anything. You can rescale it, blah blah blah, or whatever the case may be, right? So let's just do this now. The way that I get this to stencil is I hit the spacebar and I want to do build. All right, build. Now I'm just going to bring up like this more of a simple brush here, or like this one. All right, now this is actually kind of like brush size dependent. Kind of weird, I know, but if I do the bracket keys up and down, right, like that's got my brush size, and then if I hold right click, you guys will see the red little hump goes up, whoop, and down. Right, and it gets a bit tricky when you get around the radius of the brush there, but up and down. Now, this red thing is going to determine how much this stencil is going to extrude out of my geometry. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, so I've got build, and then I hit E on my keyboard, and I want to have the rectangle option selected, not brush or anything. I just want to have it this rectangle. Okay, and then my brush is going to control how much this pops out. So then what I do is I just drag around the stencil of where I want it to go on my model, and I go flip, and then we close this and we go, oh cool. Right, how cool is that? So basically you can just like, you can stencil anything and it's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's pretty awesome, right? Now what you'll say to me is, but hey Simon, that's like kind of janky. So all right, let's make it so it's not janky, all right? So just kind of zoom out and I'll show you how to do that. I know why it's janky. We're gonna solve that. One as well is like, sometimes the shaders will make a bit of a difference as well, but let's undo my stencil that I did then. Let's then go down to, remember how I said before that we can go down here and kind of control the res of our model. So if I go to resample, let's just kind of crank this up to like, 4 million polys or something, right? It's going to do a bit of loading. We're going to hope that we don't crash. And sometimes what will happen is that the model will go a bit soft. So you can always work on those cut lines and kind of tidy up and make it really tight and all that kind of stuff if you want to, right? And make it, because the more I up-res it, the sharper things will be. So now I'll show you what I mean by that. If I go to, let's go cutoff and do that thing again. We've got depth limit and then start like doing some cuts in here. Actually, before I do that, let's turn symmetry on. Enable symmetry. All right, and just make sure I'm kind of front here and do some cuts. Like you'll see now that I'll just turn symmetry off. All right, you'll see here that these cuts are like super high res. Right? Did I have that? Was that there before? That just cut out then. Hang on. Let's see what I just did. Alright. Let's just go whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. Right? So things I do now will actually kind of be at a high res. Can you guys sort of see that? Yeah. So yeah, whatever kind of cuts and things you make, they'll just kind of be, yeah, at kind of a high resolution, right? So now the same thing goes for the stencil. So what I might do is just turn, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep symmetry on because this is going to like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So if I go back to my stencil, what's cool is it should pop up in the same place. It's just because I kind of move my model around. So that's okay. We can just move this back around, right? Let me scale it. right place there. All right, and then let's go spacebar, build. All right, that's going to control how much comes out. All right, make sure that it's set to the rectangle tool, and then drag around. And then, yeah, it's going to be like at a kind of higher resolution than it was before. So it's pretty cool. So now if we go to like perspective mode, like turn symmetry off and go to like the render. Oh yes. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So it's like super fast. And like, yeah, there's all these little bits that are kind of like, you know, not they're not like a vector, you know, extrusion that looks perfect. But do you guys know any like architecture where it looks like that? It doesn't look like that. It always looks like handcrafted stone bits that are have slight, you know, kind of distortions in them and things. So I think this actually looks really perfect for what we need, right? Now the other thing is this stuff's going to kind of be off in the distance, so probably even doing this sort of thing is a little bit overkill, but we're going to do it anyway. So that's really cool, right? So you can do this kind of stuff. So yeah, sculpt. So it's great. Now also once again, it does make a difference. Like so you can have like gold, you know, and if we go back here and go into here and do that, like yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can have all those different types of metal, right? Yeah, and it will kind of pick up the light a bit different with all those different shaders. So you have a play around with those things, right? But for right now, it doesn't really matter because we're going to texture this in Blender and stuff anyway, right? So don't stress about like that side of it. So yeah, looking cool, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is once again, let's just save this, and then I'm going to show you how you can make like a pillar. All right. So we want to make a pillar. We're going to do it pretty quick. We're going to use like Photoshop to kind of help us a bit here. So let's do this. So I'm going to go back into Photoshop. Right, and let's bring up one of these columns, pillars, you know, whatever we kind of want these guys to be. Just kind of copy and paste. Get this over here. Next to the reference. Right, let's see if we can. I'm going to try something kind of funky here as well. I've got an idea for stuff and I want to kind of like test it out and see if it works. We'll see. I might break through the code, but let's give it a go. What can possibly go wrong? Alright, so gonna load the opacity on that. Just sometimes it takes a little bit for my brain to kind of like be like, okay, how do I exactly want to go about like doing this? Just gonna kind of like play. So we need the white is going to extrude, the grey is going to like not be as far, is not going to go as far, right? So let's go back to this one. It's like, I don't know, did it? I guess so. I guess those other bits, the little bits inside, didn't come out as far, right? That's cool. Okay. So what did I just say? So I need to do it in reverse though. Yeah. So the grey. Okay. No, cancel. Don't do that. All right. So let's make it slightly lighter. just gonna kind of do this in like just grey and black at the moment, and then I'll sort of work out exactly this. If we go along, and I guess we could get a little bit fancy, I reckon, with some of the filigree and stuff. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull this whole this whole column out using a stencil and make it like its own geometry. And it could be good if I like had prepared this earlier, right? But I really kind of want you guys to just kind of go along slowly and show this, rather than like having a design where I'm just like, oh yeah, I just did a design, and that's how you know. I want you to even sort of see how I'm doing the design and things, right, as well. So to me at the moment, these things don't feel like they're fitting sort of in the middle, but let's just transform the horizontal. Yeah, it's like not quite, but almost. Right, pretty close, pretty close. And like with all of these things, I can just do half, you know, like half of the design and then just flip the whole thing. So I'm always thinking about that too. Let's just sort of get this in. And like I said, I'm going to try some funky stuff with this. We'll see how we go. It's gonna take a little while just to like, you know, get this kind of neat and tidy, but okay. And you can see like in 3D Coat like before, you don't have to be like, this stuff doesn't have to be like crazy accurate. For it to work right. Okay, so we got a bit of a kind of pillar happening here. Grab half of that. Copy and paste, transform, flip horizontal. No, that sort of this little bit in here in the middle is not really round anymore, but I don't actually even think that matters. All right, we're going to make this a bit more sort of medieval kind of style. All right, so grab this. Oops. All right, so same thing again here, where I'm going to grab this whole shape, copy and paste, new image, clipboard. Right, sneaky trick. Not really a trick. We just need to make it square. Right, so it holds the proportion. Get it relatively wide. Doesn't even have to be in the middle or whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? Now I need to inverse this whole thing, right? So I need to flatten it down first because I need the white to go black, right? So I invert this. Now white pops out more and dark recedes in more, right? So okay, so with these bits, what I need to do is let's make these guys here, these ones, and that one, right? I want to get that to like be dark. There we go. Now I'm going to try a few really sneaky things. So I want this base to like kind of pop out more than the pillar. So if I select the whole thing, I'm gonna have to be. I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm just gonna really. I'm testing stuff. If it doesn't work, I'll do it the other way I was gonna do this. So what I might do is just save this as Stencil 2. Stencil 2. Okay, and then what I want to do is I just want to make this all kind of darker. So yeah, so that this base is actually going to pop out the furthest. Right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Now, first, let's try some really crazy stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna set a new layer to multiply, and let's go gradient tool, and let's use this option here, right? So the kind of linear one, and foreground to transparent. Okay, opacity 30%. That's pretty good actually. Let's try this. So then what I'm going to do is let's just drag a gradient to kind of like the middle. Maybe I might need to change that to 100% so I can see what. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. So I want to select those dark ones here. Same thing. I want to make them round. Oops. Yeah. Select that one. Go to this layer. Make that round. And go here. And you're gonna see how like powerful 3D Coat is kind of doing this sort of stuff. I've never actually tried this like this before, so we'll just. Nathan's laughing at me because he knows this is not going to work. Yeah, I got Nathan sitting here. He's the Twitch TA, and he's like, "This is gonna suck." Let's try it. Hey, we'll see how we go. I reckon that this should work. This should work pretty cool. Let's see. So I'm gonna flip this. All right. Oh, no, don't do that. Select all of these layers, then merge it. Okay. All right. So save this as Stencil 3. I might have been 2. I think that maybe I was a bit too heavy-handed, like it's getting too dark, but let's see. Excited. Go back into 3D Coat. All right. I knew this would work another way that I was going to do it, but I was trying to actually make it kind of like cylindrical as well. But anyway, I'm just going to hide that, make a new layer. I'm just going to call this roof. And there's all this other junk. Delete that. Delete. No, whatever. We can use that one. Let's use this. Alright, get that layer and let's go transform. Right, and basically I just want to make some geo that is like kind of the size of our, you know, pillar, whatever. Right, yep, cool. That'll do. Okay. So let's try this. Let's go to Stencils, new, Stencil 3, open. Let's click on the stencil. Oh yes, maybe. So what do I want to do?
We would be honored if you would join us.
Oops, do that. No, it's the middle one. Let's forget. Yeah. Drag this into the middle of our geometry there. Now I know that like I really need to make sure this is like a good resolution. So let's try it like, whoa, undo. What just happened then? I just transformed that. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Resample. Do this. Other way. Let's try like 3 something or other. 3 million. Uh-oh. Please don't die. Spacebar. Build. Right, now let's like kind of right click and extrude this out. We want to do it a bit further, right? Something like that. And then hit E. I'm getting nervous. Right, so let's drag this out from down here somewhere. This could fail. Oh, it's close. It's doing what I thought it was going to do. Undo. We'll try it. Let's try that. Pretty good, isn't it? Hey, how cool is that? That is pretty cool. You know what I'm going to try? Like, so it even extrudes this base out exactly how I wanted it to go, right? That is cool. Let's try something first. I'm just going to undo that. Let's try just going back into Photoshop and just not having this quite so shrink. So I'm just going to go into hue saturation, just lighten all this. Not like that. Just going to make it all. Just go maybe curves. And yeah, I think that might be a bit better. So just save that again. Stencil 3. Let's go back into 3D Coat and just delete this one. Delete. Yes. New stencil. Stencil 3. Open. Oh. What happened? Anyway, still good. We're fine. Yeah, move it around a bit. Okay. Ready? Do this. Oh. Yeah. Pretty cool. Although I do have some problems now. Do gotta like cut all this out, but it's pretty cool. Because the other thing I could do, right, is just make like a cylinder and then kind of like just, you know, just stencil this stuff on to the cylinder. But then I got to sculpt it anyway. All right, let's just. All right, let's go symmetry. Turn symmetry on. See if we can kind of like get this in a half reasonable state. All right, close down the stencils. Go spacebar, cutoff P, lasso tool. Just make sure there's no depth limit turned on, and just start like cutting out. Right, and you can kind of just almost be designing like as you're cutting this out. But because I did the symmetry, it's pretty cool. I don't know about you guys. This stuff is pretty amazing. You can just do in like 3D. The other thing is like these are going to be sticking out from like kind of the walls that I've got, so they don't like have to be. They don't have to necessarily be like a full-on like cylinder. Yeah, yeah. Box cutter is pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's some pretty awesome stuff in Blender. What are we doing here? Cut off. Make sure we line that stuff up. Cut it out. But like that's pretty cool, hey. Like we've got a pretty decent looking fillet here. Which let's do like in perspective and do a little version. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool for like what kind of want. I think that when I kind of like get this geo over into Blender, like this is going to look pretty good. We can get rid of kind of all this like faceting and stuff because we're going to like decimate it and things. So it'll be sort of a simplified version of this, but pretty cool how you can get all those details and everything right. So yeah. So let's we got my roof here. All right, and now I've got the column. Right, and let's go. Hang on, let's go back into perspective off. Symmetry off for a sec, and spacebar. Transform. Right, little middle yellow button will like transform. Photoshop here. My little layout of what I was going to kind of do here. Have a look. Yeah, it's 3D code. So these guys are just sitting underneath there somewhere. Maybe I could even just add another little connection bit underneath there. And this is going to be pretty, like the scale of this thing is like pretty huge. Remember, like a person's like little tiny guy down there, right? Scale working. All right. And then what I'm going to do is just duplicate this. So the little button down here is duplicate. So just click on that. Okay. I just want to duplicate. Thank you. And then move that across. Voila. And we've got like couple of these guys in here. And then if we kind of grab both of these and move them to the front. So you just shift click the layers, select both of them. I'm already on transform, so I can just kind of like move these somewhere near the front. And you know, if we start sort of doing this, you know what I mean? We're getting there pretty quick and just really getting some fast details, even though I'm going super slow to show you guys what's kind of going on. You know, we're getting some really quick details here, right? Very cool. So yeah. What else are we gonna do here? I'm just gonna really quickly throw in like just block out some of these details really quick, like so what is this one here? That is nothing on that layer, so just gonna go back here. Alright, let's go primitive box, apply, boom, transform. Alright, so oh, hang on. So this happened, which can be kind of a bit of a pain. It's just kind of transforming in the wrong spot. So I think if we go to center mass, that'll basically just click that back on the middle of that box, right? So that's okay. And then we just want to like transform out, and then I just want to turn symmetry on, and see how that's kind of gone skew if, right? So you just hit S, and the same kind of thing here is just go pick from bound box, and that'll basically snap it back to the middle. So then I just boom, cut off the lasso tool, and I just want to make these nice shapes with an angle. I did it wrong. Oops. Let's just up-res this as well, because I know that I just want to do this once. So E, depth limit. Yeah. Chop that off. Alright, so now I'm sort of getting this kind of shape. Let's go back to transform, and just want to have this like a lot chunkier, kind of sideways just for now. Really going to keep these as really basic kind of shapes here. I'm just looking at the proportion. Okay, let's bring all these guys back so that I can start working out where this sits in space. What I do is I kind of like, oh, yeah, I don't want it quite that angled, so I'm just going to go cut off. I know it's like the right tool. Let's do that. Alright, pretty cool. Alright, so just want to see there. Yep, that's about the right spot. And then I just want to duplicate this. So I'm just going to duplicate that one. And then this. That. This will be like kind of big temple sort of shape. So I'm just thinking about the big shapes here at the moment. Just looking at my design. Oops, don't break that kind of symmetry there. Oops, please click the right button. Solar. Let's what you can do, like, so this little next to the eye, well, we'll just turn them off, right? We'll use the eye icon, just hide them. All right, and then what I want to do here is just go cut off. I just want to get this shape. Actually, you know what? Let's do it all in one. Kind of go bit sneaky. See if we can just get that shape working a little bit more. All right, just bring these back up. And now we're starting to get somewhere, right? Okay, got a little bit more time. I'll go like 15 minutes over today just so that we can, because I know we started kind of late, so just go a little bit over time. But yeah, can you guys all sort of start to see, like, you know, how quickly this can start to move forward, right? Do this, just kind of check that's all sort of like heading in the right direction, right? So getting these shapes and everything happening pretty quick. I think it's already starting to have like a pretty decent like medieval kind of feeling to it. So yeah, the next bit I want to do is I want to kind of work on this like big kind of window thing that we've got in the middle here. I'll show you what I mean by that in a sec. So I do like to kind of save incrementally on this stuff. Because yeah, sometimes 3D code does get a bit glitchy and you kind of need to like revert back to previous saves. So okay, we're going to do the same sort of thing to get the window details. So I'll just go back into Photoshop. Oops. Sorry that there. All right, so I want to kind of work on this kind of thing, right? So that middle big window piece. So I was really hoping that would really help give it this really nice medieval kind of feeling. So yeah, looked around, looked up some kind of references and things, and I thought, yeah, something like this would be really cool. So yeah, you can see like all different sorts of patterns here. Yeah, just thinking about how we kind of like do this or break it up, all that kind of stuff. So let's just kind of quickly start working on a pattern. There's probably some ways that I can kind of do this. Oh, I see. Kind of cool. I don't know if that's really what I want, but almost. Let's just kind of do this. Just do it normally. This is kind of no doubt going to take a little bit of time. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Sometimes I'll do this and I know that like the circle's kind of going to be like not quite right. So, sorry, the line work's not going to be thick enough. So I'll just kind of like I'll just kind of transform it down, even though I know that the thickness is not very good, and then I'll just kind of like redo it. If that makes sense. I don't know why that did not work. Hey. Don't know what just happened there. What did I do? Like build it with a kind of different opacity. Fill. Did I do fill? Not stroke. Oops. Sorry. Do you know any alternatives to Substance Painter, Nathan? Maybe type in the chat if you've got any, if you know anything. Oops. Wait. So just trying to get the structure of this like circular stuff kind of working, and then I've kind of got to work out like how we're gonna keep doing this. All right. Okay, this is. So I'm going to let's bring up the symmetry now. Very cool. Get that in the middle. The other line's not in the middle. Where is that line? Yeah, better. I think kind of Substance is one of those things where it's like pretty unique to what it does, so it's kind of like, yeah, you just gotta work out a way to get it and use it and all that kind of stuff. Alright, so oops. Let's try. Then oops. So just trying to get you can see like you get quite a lot of fidelity in 3D coat, right? So you can actually have some of these like smaller details, like it's pretty cool how far you can kind of like push it. And then basically I can just like copy and paste this around, right? Copy, paste, transform, put vertical. That'll let me put this one down here. Rotate, hold down shift, right, and it'll snap to kind of like, I think it's sort of 15-degree increments. And then basically I can just paste that in there, transform, flip horizontal, just paste this in. and then duplicate that one. So hold shift and it'll snap it, and it'll probably snap it to the right angle there for me. Pretty cool. Go in, delete these bits and pieces. But I do really want this to be like a very strong shape language, right? So that's why I'm spending a bit of time on this. So yeah, I think it's important that to get it right. Then I can just copy it and paste it. Remember, you just grab half of it and paste it on itself, right? And sort of pretty quickly, those details will start coming together. Once again, like some of these details can be pretty forgiving in the 3D model, so they don't have to be like crazy. But yeah, just keep working through some of this stuff. Right. Ellipses, pretty good. Transform selection, so you can even transform selections, which is pretty cool. Make that 105, no, 102, 103. Up, 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 up. I'm going to move this around a tiny bit. New layer, stroke. Let's make it 7. Deselect, Control J, that will duplicate that. Transform, 105, 110. Giving it some variation. Duplicate that again. For like 130 and 40, 142, 143, 145. Oh, 40, 45. make this a little bit lighter. Just wanting to break up there in here. You know what I should do? Make it easy on myself. Undo. Got that one. We've got that one. Whatever those ones are. Let's just do this on like a layer, like down here, right? And then that'll go underneath. Oh, look at all these other layers of junk. Will that work? Yep. Sort of. If I use the in the custom shape tool, there's actually sort of a way where I could do this like way better, like a much more accurate version. But once again, I said like in the 3D model, like it's pretty forgiving. So yeah, I think that would be okay. Cancel it off. I think this is going to kind of do for what we need. Flip vertical. Whoops. Flip vertical. Alright, put this up top here. Shift. Wait. Alright. Raise out a few of these lines here. Yeah, I don't know. There may even be some sort of radial symmetry thing in here. I just didn't look around long enough. But wouldn't that be good? Alright, but like this is looking pretty cool, right? It's sort of heading in the direction of this kind of business here. So new file, that's pretty good. It's pretty square, all that kind of stuff. Alright, go. I just need to merge that down right, convert it. Probably fine. We'll just extrude it out a little bit. Just try it. See how it goes. Save this in here. Stencil 4. Amazing filing system I've got going on. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 878. Alright, now what I want to do first is, sorry, let's go back in here, pull out my design and move across so I can see it. Just think about what on earth is happening behind here. So direct 3D coat. Alright, so now what I want to do, I want to have another block. Let's grab this one. Now in 3D coat, if you use the button H, that'll select objects on their layer. So if I have a mouse over this one, hit H. Sometimes the symmetry on goes a bit crazy. Oh, what's going on? H. Not liking it. H. There we go. H. All right, and it'll move to that layer, which is pretty cool. So anyway, let's go back here. I'm just going to go transform. Move this one back. And it's slightly defined there. And then I want another one of these, so I'm just going to duplicate that and I'm going to put it here. Do a bit of that. Transform it up. So this sits outside there. That's cool. Alright, so I've got this here now. So yeah, and I'm going to kind of make a few cuts and stuff to this one, but yeah, let's actually maybe start by extruding some of this out a little bit. Let's get this window. So I want to, with these columns, right, I want to just hit these little buttons here. Okay, be very careful not to hit the V. As soon as you hit the V, kind of like an undoable thing in 3D Code. It's voxel sculpting, and once you turn that to S, it's kind of like not fun anymore. So just really be careful not to hit that. Yeah, but this little cylinder icon next to the eye, that'll kind of like lock the layers and put them in ghost mode, so you can kind of see where they are in space, but without doing anything to affect them. So that's really cool. So, and then I can basically, I don't need the roof, just hide that. And this stuff here on the side, we can just hide that one, and can hide that. And I'm just going to call this door. And let's make this window first. So what I'm going to do here is let's go to pose and E and circle and some. All right. Reset. Doesn't matter that it's doing stuff in the back, that's fine. Alright, and maybe I could even just kind of like tuck it in a bit this way and that way, just so it's got a bit of angle to it. I think that could be cool. Let's just go clear selection. Alright, now I think some of these are pretty big already. Resample, yeah, but let's crank it a little bit. It's always good when you kind of do those things, just like save. Right, zoom in here, zoom in, move this around. Okay, go back to stencils, just do the same thing, new stencil, stencil 4. Alright, bring it in, okay, right click on the little green thing, bring it down, move it around, bring it down. It's a little bit, you can see it's a little bit skewy, so I'll do that. Right, cool. Okay, so let's go back to build, and we want this not extruding out that far, right? That is not what we want, but something like that I think would be pretty cool. Escape. Oh. Undo. Looks like a little bit higher. A bit tricky sometimes. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm not sure why that actually indented kind of there. Maybe my thing is not quite right. That's kind of annoying. Let's go back to Photoshop. Looks pretty high. I wonder whether that is something to do with the depth limit and stuff. Let's have a look. Maybe it's the border width and ignore back faces. Let's try that first. Let's go to Stencil. There we go. For one of these options will fix this up. Oh, there we go. But uh-oh. Turn symmetry off first. Stencil. So that didn't really work very well. So let's get E. Maybe make that 0. See what happens. Go back to the stencil. Worse. 50. I actually ticked. I don't know why. Hey, better. Pretty good. Pretty good. Once again, like, that has come out pretty cool. Look at that. Nice. Very cool. Alright, I'm happy with that anyway. Okay. Just do really quick. Kind of this door. One. Just grab this guy. Duplicate it. Hide the other one. Go. Oh, cut off. Actually, you know what? Let's keep that part. Let's go transform. Oh. Oh. That's painful. What do I have here? My doorways. Just gonna make this a bit fatter and then kind of cut it out a little bit more. Not that one. This one. Hide these other guys for a sec. Cut off. A lasso. Pretty cool how you can just be like super rough with that. However, it would be nice if I had symmetry turned on. make sure it's in the middle. Just cut this out again. Just cut the other side off. There we go. Cool. And let's try with the depth limit. But let's change it to maybe like 25. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Yeah. Pretty cool. All right. Okay. And you can see that, you know, the scale and stuff is starting to come together. Let's just really quick, just so this is a bit, oops, hang on, undo, just so this is a bit clear. Just, yeah, primitive. Symmetry. There we go. Yep. Whatever. Apply. Transform. Just want to make a really quick ground plane. Just make it like something else. See what's going on here. Don't get it out of control. Yeah, just like just so we can see where this is kind of heading. Right, turn perspective on. Alright, so a quick little render. Amazing green ground here. Yeah, obviously that's not going to be like that. Metallic, no. I don't know. Maybe that one. Yeah, that'll do. All right. Yeah. So like, you kind of get the idea that yeah, this is, we're sort of heading in the right direction here. So yeah. So I hope this is kind of like giving you guys some ideas for, you know, how you could use 3D code, coming up with some of your own designs. You know, stenciling them on, thinking about, you know, how that we've just come from using the, you know, just creating these like simple line drawing shapes and designs, just developing up from like super rough at the start, just kept pushing, developing, right, getting more shapes, ideas, you know, more of that design language going on, right, and then taking those things through into 3D code and just starting to like, yeah, build those details up. I'm not sure I like these columns. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, you get kind of the idea of how this can kind of, yeah, get built up pretty quick. Got a question. When you're working in AAA Studio, do you think they'll expect this to be done faster? Not saying slow. I think that like if I was not talking through this process, like I would expect to have my line work and probably 3D code all done in one day. You know, like so we've done 2-hour sessions, and I'm really going super slow and showing you guys how you can kind of do this. But if I was doing this for myself, it would be, yeah, it'd be way faster, right? But that's not the point, you know. Or as always at the start, don't worry about speed. Just really want to worry about quality and trying to build up those skills to create, you know, good stuff. So yeah, so I think that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and yeah, we're going to do another stream with Tim and myself tomorrow, talking about some working from home strategies and stuff. So that should be pretty cool, and hopefully we can see you around then. Okay, bye guys.